Hey guys, my name is Alicia, and if you guys didn't know, I sell secondhand clothing on the apps Depop and Poshmark, and every month I make a video talking about what I sold and how much money I ended up making. So today we're going to be talking about what sold in August of 2021. So August was definitely an interesting month. You know, it's kind of the end of summer, beginning of fall, basically. So sales were definitely a little bit slow in the beginning and sort of picked up by the end, which was kind of interesting. So I actually ended up selling 13 items this month. 5 of those sold on Depop. 1 actually sold on Instagram, which is great. And then 7 sold on Poshmark. So Poshmark actually took the lead once again this month, which is interesting. I do have a lot more listed on Poshmark, so that is probably why I sold a little bit more, but it was actually pretty even split this month. But 13 items sold overall in the month is typically low for me. I usually sell closer to 20, so that's why this month has been interesting. It's been kind of slow, but I think I did make some pretty good sales, so let's get into it. Alright, so the very first thing I sold in August was actually on Depop, and it was this shark embroidered t-shirt. I've had this t-shirt for quite a long time. I basically was trying to get rid of it. I was selling it for pretty cheap. It has actually had some interest in the past, but it hadn't sold. So now it finally sold, which I was really happy about. So I ended up selling that for $15 plus $10 shipping. This item was actually going out to Alberta, so shipping ended up being quite pricey. I ended up paying $18.50 for shipping. So that definitely cut into my profits a ton. And because this was actually my friend's shirt that I was helping her sell, we ended up splitting the profits. At the end of the day, I actually only ended up making $1.50 off of this shirt, which is not great, but honestly, considering it was a shirt I was trying to get rid of, I was okay to let it go for $1.50. And guys, just keep in mind that I do have my own clothing pickup service, so I do get a lot of clothes for free. So unless otherwise stated, there usually isn't a cost associated with me acquiring each item. If I did pick it up from the thrift store or something like that, I'll definitely let you guys know. Alright, so the next item that I sold was actually on Depop once again, and I ended up selling another one of my custom denim jackets. I ended up selling my Royal Kitty reworked denim jacket. So that was really cool. I feel like I'm at the point where I'm selling about one of these a month, so I actually already have my next one listed, so we'll see how quickly that one ends up selling. But I ended up selling my reworked jacket for $95 plus $10 shipping. Because it's such a heavy item, shipping did end up costing $21, so that kind of ate into my profits, but I was actually able to keep the initial costs for the materials super low for this one. The pillow, the cat pillow that I used to make this, I actually picked up off of Facebook Marketplace for $10, which is usually a little bit more than I pay for these pillows at the thrift store or something. But because this was such a unique design, I thought it was worth it. But where I actually ended up saving a ton was actually on the jacket. I ended up picking up that jacket off of Poshmark. The seller was only selling it for $5, which is absolutely crazy because it's actually a really good quality jacket. So I hopped on that and purchased it, but I basically didn't even have to pay for shipping on it because I actually had a credit from you guys using my referral code, which has been amazing. Thank you so much to anyone who has gone and click the link in my description to sign up for Poshmark, because once you guys end up making a purchase on Poshmark, I actually end up getting, I think it's $15 credit in my account. So thank you so much to anyone who's done that. If you have been thinking of signing up for Poshmark, definitely use my code down below because it saves both of us money. But anyways, that was really helpful. I was able to use a credit towards it, which kept my costs super low, and actually only ended up paying $5.24 for the jacket at the end of the day. So amazing steal, helped keep my costs low and my profit margins bigger. So at the end of the day, I actually ended up making $54.73 off of that jacket. So that was really amazing. I think that's definitely one of the highest profit margins I've made off of my rework jackets. This is the 4th or 5th one I've sold at this point, so that was really good and definitely my biggest profit margin of the month, which is great. So then next, I actually ended up making a sale on Instagram. I don't make a ton of sales through Instagram, but when I do, I generally make a little bit more money because I'm not paying any Depop or Poshmark fees, which is really awesome. And I actually ended up selling another one of my custom bucket hats. If you guys remember last month, I did have a custom bucket hat order through Instagram, And after making that one, someone actually saw it and wanted me to make one for them. So basically it's kind of like a bit of a snowball effect where people are like ordering because they saw someone else having one. So that's really cool. So I ended up selling that to them for $45, including shipping and everything. And then at the end of the day, I ended up making $32.97. So a pretty decent profit. These bucket hats do take quite a while for me to make and they're a lot of effort. So $30 is like honestly almost not worth it for me, but I do find like people are not going to pay much more for a bucket hat. So I'm still happy to make them for that profit. But that was a really good profit, definitely one of the higher ones of the month. So next, I actually ended up making my first Poshmark sale of the month, and I ended up selling a bundle. It was a bundle of these Aldo tan leather booties and these striped shorts. I actually ended up selling all of that for $40, and at the end of the day, I made $30.96. So about $15 per item. Now the shorts were part of my personal collection, and they did actually cost me about $30 when I bought them originally. So if you consider that, I technically didn't make any money. I like just made my money back. But because I bought them so long ago, I kind of am not like incorporating that. So I'm just gonna say I ended up making $30. Sorry guys if this clip looks different. I am filming this a few hours after because I just realized I completely skipped over the next item that I ended up selling. So the next item I sold were these American Apparel disco shorts, and I really had no idea how these were gonna do. I mostly just sold them because they were in great condition and they were American Apparel, but they're definitely an older style, super short, which isn't really in right now. But I feel like with Poshmark, you can definitely get away with the older styles. And this actually had quite a bit of interest on it, which I was really surprised. So I actually ended up selling it on Poshmark for $20, and at the end of the day made $15.48. So great profit. I guess that's the power of American Apparel. Then next on Poshmark, I made another sale for this blue and brown leather belt. This one I actually picked up a long time ago with the intent of doing like a DIY project with it, which never happened. I definitely overpaid for it, and at this point I was trying to just get rid of it basically. So I ended up selling it for $18. And at the end of the day, I actually ended up losing money, about like $3, which definitely sucks. But because of this item, I honestly was never even like wanting to sell it. I was basically getting rid of it at this point. I'm glad I was able to make a little bit of my money back. Then next on Poshmark, I ended up selling this J. Lindenberg black flannel. If you guys remember this from one of my mystery thrift hauls, I was super excited about this one because I looked up the original price and it actually originally cost like $200. Now I didn't think I was going to get $200 for it, but I thought it was going to sell for like a little bit more money. But there was like barely any interest on it. So when somebody sent me an offer for $21, I accepted it because I was just looking to get rid of it basically at this point. And at the end of the day, I made $12.57. So not exactly the high hopes I had for it, but I still made money off of it, so it was fine. Then next on Depop, I ended up selling this Colby plaid brown button down. You might notice this is the second kind of like button down flannel shirt that sold. So this was the moment when I was like, fall is coming, like people are preparing for fall. So I actually ended up selling that for $24.99 plus $10 shipping. And at the end of the day, I actually ended up making $17.47, which is actually pretty high for that kind of item. And I was really, really happy with that. Then next on Depop, I actually ended up selling this Nike baby blue crew neck. Now this is kind of a little bit of a spoiler for my next video, and I kind of was debating like waiting until I filmed this video to post it, but then I was like, whatever, like I'll just post it. It'll probably take a while to sell anyways. But it ended up selling super quick, like within a couple days, which totally makes sense because people are super into Nike and those kind of like sweaters right now. But the thing with this one is it wasn't even authentic, which I of course like made sure to include in the description and everything, and I still ended up selling it for $30 plus $10 shipping. Now I did actually pick up this item from the Goodwill bins. Once again, this is kind of a spoiler, and it only cost me $1.50, which is amazing. So at the end of the day, I actually made $20.32. So super happy with that. That ended up paying for basically everything I ended up buying at the bins that day, and I've already made a profit, so that is super cool. You guys are gonna have to stay tuned for my next video to see everything I ended up getting at the Goodwill bins, but very exciting. Then next on Poshmark, another Nike item, this time authentic. It was this Nike purple and gray zip-up hoodie. I actually ended up selling that for $28, and then at the end of the day I made $17.64. So once again, I didn't make a lot of sales this month, but I feel like my profit margins have definitely been a little bit higher. Then these last couple sales really came through on like the second last day of August, so I was really happy about that because it kind of like helped bring up my numbers for this month. But I ended up selling this gray sweater vest, so super cool to know that sweater vests are still still going strong, and like obviously people once again are preparing for fall. Somebody sent me an offer for $15. I thought that was totally fair. So at the end of the day, I ended up making $10.53. So as you guys may or may not know, $10 is always my goal profit, so I basically hit that. I even went over a little bit, so I was really happy about that. Then finally, the last thing I ended up selling was actually on Depop, and I ended up selling this fairy core midi skirt. You guys may have seen my haul video when I found this item, but I was super excited for this. I had really high hopes for it because it was such like a on-trend and niche item, very fairy core, and I'm honestly surprised it took this long to sell, but it did finally sell. Whenever somebody buys something like that, I love to check their likes and like see everything like similar, and it's just like so funny to see like this person was totally into the fairy core aesthetic, which is exactly what I was waiting for, somebody who's super into fairy core to buy this. But anyways, I ended up selling that for $24.99 plus $10 shipping. Now this person actually lives in Newfoundland, so shipping was really pricey. I actually ended up going with one of the flat rate boxes because it was a little bit cheaper. It ended up saving me about like $3 or $4, but it still was pricey. So at the end of the day, I ended up making about $9.28, which is right underneath my goal profit, but still close enough where I was happy about that. So that is everything I ended up selling for the month of August. So now, once again, I'm gonna go ahead, calculate everything, add everything up, and we're gonna find out how much money I made this month. Alright guys, so this month I actually ended up making $220.01. So honestly, a lot more than I was expecting considering I only made 13 sales. I also like to calculate the average I made per item, and that ended up being $16.92. So a lot higher than I typically have. You know, I think last month it was closer to like $10, which it, yeah, usually is. So $16.92 per item is really awesome. That's pretty high for me. And that has always been my goal, to raise that number, because I'd rather make less sales but more money than more sales for less money, if that makes sense. So super happy with that. I think now that fall's picking up, I'm definitely gonna see things rolling again. Depop actually has an exciting update for their website. So now they've definitely changed like the interface on the desktop of how like things are organized, where you can like go check out your stats and stuff. But they finally added that you can post a listing from your computer. Before you could only do it on your phone. And while I probably still will continue to do it from my phone, I think that posting it from a computer is probably way faster because you actually have a keyboard where you can type and like all that. So I think that's a really awesome update. Maybe I'll give it a try. You know, I think how I'll do it is probably edit the photos on my phone, put them in my drafts, and then from my computer edit the drafts and type out the listings, because that always takes so long, like typing on your phone. So I think that will be a pretty good system. So I think that's everything from me. I hope this video is helpful for you guys. I know I like to make it to show you guys what is selling and like for how much, so hopefully it's helpful. Let me know what your like best item you sold this month is in the comments. Like I think that'd be really fun if we could all share like our favorite or like best selling item. Of course too, like drop your Depop and Poshmark ads below. Just make sure you're leaving it as an @ and not a link, because YouTube has been deleting so many of your guys' comments, which is like so sad, because I like get a notification, I can see it, and then when I click on it, it says it's gone. So yeah, just be careful. Don't leave any links or like any weird comments, I guess. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.